because in the movie, a bunch of the other techies working at the NSA had reservations like you. So she's asking whether, this is actually accurate. And it is striking that while in some ways you are the most famous whistleblower, there have been others such as William Binney and Thomas Drake who have sounded the whistle. So we'd just like to hear a little bit more about the kind of work culture at the NSA or the contracting corporations, and how people kind of express their dissatisfaction, or whether you kind of thought of the problems in a kind of siloed way and then just acted independently.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I brought my concerns to a lot of my different colleagues. I brought them to supervisors. I showed them specifically this slide amongst others. It was actually not a slide at the time. It was, okay, it's not actually displaying because it looks like my system has run out of memory to display that. But it's a global heat map of the NSA's surveillance, right? This was an interactive tool inside the agency that said where we are collecting the most communications, right? Where we're ingesting the most emails, the most phone calls into our systems, right? Text messages, your internet traffic, Google searches, things like that. And it showed that we were actually collecting more American communications than we were Russian communications. And I asked them, is this what we signed up for? Is this what we were trying to achieve? And of course they said, no, that doesn't seem right. That's not really accurate. But they said, hey, look, you know what happens to people who rock the boat. And they specifically referenced people like Thomas Drake, of course, was a very famous case in this example. But the idea here is that, yes, every whistleblower learns from the individuals who came before. I would not have been possible without the examples of Daniel Ellsberg, of William Binney, of Thomas Drake, of Chelsea Manning. Because it is this iterative understanding of our history, how the government operates, how they are likely to respond, how you interact successfully with journalists and unsuccessfully, that informs your thinking, your method of operation, and your belief that change can be achieved. And I'm so thankful for these people who came before, because they showed that, yes, the NSA will retaliate. The United States government will retaliate, regardless of whether it's right or wrong, regardless of whether they have any grounds or belief. I knew I would be charged with the Espionage Act, despite the fact that I was not a spy. I wasn't contacting foreign governments. I was contacting journalists, because this is what they did to Thomas Drake, who did the same thing the government. This was a senior NSA executive, for those who are not familiar, at the very top levels of the agency in the wake of 9/11, who discovered the warrantless wiretapping program and a privacy-preserving equivalent program that the NSA killed. And because they suspected him of telling the media about these programs, even though he went through proper channels, he went to the inspector generals, he went to his supervisors, he went to the lawyers to ask them sort of what was going on, they destroyed him in retaliation. They didn't go, look, he went through the process, he did the right thing, he went to Congress to tell them about what was going on. They said, let's indict him as a spy under the Espionage Act. So he is prohibited from telling the jury why he did what he did. The Espionage Act is one of the few laws in the United States that guarantees you cannot receive a fair trial, and it's designed that way intentionally. That's kind of a feature, not a bug. And if I had not seen that, I may have made less wise decisions.
Thank you for that answer.
If I may, if I can ask the technical staff, I'm going to reconnect this because it looks like you lost video real quick. I'll be back in about 30 seconds.